In this video, we're installing a complete airline system from start to finish, from the compressor to the regulators. We won't need that big wrench you saw in the thumbnail, but we are going to go over materials I chose, the reason for that, why line size matters, and how we ended up with a nice, clean, reliable system that you can have in your shop. I'm Jaden from the Moonlight Craftsman channel. Let's get started. I'm starting by disconnecting this temporary regulator that I've been using and removing the factory bushing so I can connect larger pipe. Coming right off the compressor, I'm using 2-inch steel pipe, plenty strong, and then reducing down to 1.25 inches. That size should give me plenty of flow without going overboard on cost. Here I'm making up an assembly, 2-inch out of the compressor, reducing to the 1.25 inch T, with a valve pointing down at the end of a drip leg. That was my nickname back in high school. And a valve at the top of the T to be able to shut off the whole line. One of the goals I had here was to not have to thread any pipe, but we're going to go to 2 endpoint locations on separate sides of the shop, branching off this main line. Now we're going to put a valve on top of the 6-inch nipple over there. I'm going to add another 6-inch nipple, and then I got half of a union here, which will the valve will allow us to isolate the compressor from the rest of the line, and the union will allow us to detach the compressor from the rest of the line, or make changes mid-line, because once all the pipes together you can't unscrew it, unless you have, you got to start clear at the end unless you have a union. But I am going to add a couple extra T's, so it's primarily just to separate the compressor from the rest of the line. Once that's in, I realized vibration might be an issue. The weight of steel pipe straight off a compressor can crack threads over time, so I'm planning a support that isolates movement. Here I'm fabricating a small steel stand, just a piece of angle iron welded to a plate with unistrut welded to the side of the angle. It'll get a clamp around the pipe and sit on the rubber pad. That rubber helps absorb vibration while the stand takes the weight. It probably would have been best and easier to come straight off the compressor with a flexible stainless steel hose. I am going to install one of those right after that union that we put in earlier. This stand should do the trick though, but we'll find out in a little bit. Just finishing up welding it here and get it ready for some paint. While the paint dries on that, I move on to what will be the horizontal section. I plan on transitioning from steel pipe to copper pipe at the end of this horizontal run, so I add a brass coupling at the transition. A brass connection between the steel and copper prevents galvanic corrosion. This T here is installed just for possible future branches, so that's why it's getting a plug here. The paint's dry on the angle iron stand I made, so I'll go ahead and install this now. I'm going to use a wedge anchor right here, just a single one. I figured that that'll allow it to move around a little bit more, but I tighten it up to the concrete first to actuate the wedge anchor, then remove that nut. And I place it on the rubber and then clamp it right here. There's also a piece of plastic in this unistrut clamp, so that should help with vibration as well. Now I'm measuring and cutting angle supports that'll attach to the purlins near the ceiling. These will hold the horizontal run. It looks like we got a package from Pneumatics Plus. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the other half of the union onto this flexible hose. This is about 1 foot long. Then I'm going to put together a 2-foot piece and a 5-foot piece. And I think you've seen enough screwing together pipe for now, so I'll go ahead and do that off camera, and that'll make the riser, and we'll go from there. With the riser assembled, I measure for the awl thread that will suspend the line. I'll use a laser to mark the hanger positions on the angle supports. Then I'll cut the awl thread to length and assemble the hangers and place them in the angles to where they're close to the final elevation. I noticed somebody must have put the wrong hanger back in the wrong spot at Menards. I got 2 1/4 inch hangers and 1 1/2 inch here, so I think it'll still work just fine. So now that I have the riser assembled and the horizontal piece assembled, I'm going to go ahead and screw them together. I'm just doing this by myself, but I figure it might be easier just to put it up all at once. It was a little heavier than I thought, so I kind of had to use the truss as a support here, as you can see, to get it started. Put one hanger up, and then I'll move my ladder and just kind of slide it on down, get another hanger on there, and I felt pretty good about it. Using the breaker box as a step stool right here, I can easily get it into position. I'll hook this union up and do a quick vibration test by starting the compressor. And very little movement. I'm pretty pleased with how this turns out. The compressor has rubber pads too, so I think it kind of matches that, and it worked out pretty good. Next, I turn to the regulators at the end of the line. They need solid mounting, so I cut angle iron to weld to the wall framing. One side will have a regulator with an oiler for like air tools. The other side will get a filter dryer set up. Later I'll add another regulator on that one. I decided to go ahead and weld these angles in place just because I happen to have a welder right here handy. But you could obviously bolt them or however you want to do it. You know, some things on these projects, you know, sometimes you just need to be a little bit creative. Now I'll just go ahead and bolt the manifolds to the angle with the supplied bracket that's on the back of the manifolds. Here I'm showing a piece of 1/2 inch copper tube and a brass fitting that connects the copper to a short steel nipple. It's a good idea to add unions right before each regulator. Makes future maintenance simple. Now I'll start cleaning the copper with a wire brush, add flux, and solder the joint that ties into the regulator. Below the T, I install a valve for draining moisture, and above it another valve that can shut off air to the regulator. I think I remember the first time I ever soldered copper pipe. It was 1999. I was 13 years old, and that Y2K thing was going on. Do you remember that? Well, me and my stepdad were putting in copper pipe at this accountant's house, and he had this old galvanized pipe. But anyways, well, at the end of it, he proceeds to ask me, now I'm 13, remember, hey, if there was a secret room in here, where would it be? And I kind of point over to this space, and he has this look on his face, and he says, how'd you know that? And, you know, well, I mean, there's kind of like this space that you can't get to, you know, so I kind of figured that that's right where it was. So he proceeded to show us his secret room and all the secret contents within inside the room, ghillie suits, weapons, etc., etc. I'm working on this second regulator here. This one isn't rated for 175 psi, so I add a 1/2 inch regulator before the manifold to bring it down to pressure before that. When the valve here, it says 600 WOG, that stands for water, oil, gas, and that means it's rated for 600 psi. Now sometimes you'll run into fittings that say 125 or something like that. That's 125 class. They're actually rated for higher pressures than that, and it varies on the material, so you would be sure to look that up. So I did put a brass fitting in between the copper and the steel nipple over on the regulator over there. I did have a brass fitting for this one in between the copper and this aluminum regulator here. but I forgot to put it in there. And I could rework this year, but you know, it is just an airline. There shouldn't be that much moisture in here. I guess we're gonna find out if it's gonna be a problem. I'll set this right here and I'll keep an eye on this and I'll report back in a couple years. So I guess you'll just have to subscribe to that update. So just to recap where we're at, there's the horizontal line, and right there is one of the end points that we're going to, the regulators, and then across the shop, there's the other one. So we just got to get in between there and there. I went with copper for the rest of the lines for a few good reasons. First, copper handles pressure really well. Solder joints of type L copper are rated for well over 200 psi, which is beyond what most shop compressors ever reach. It doesn't rust inside, so you get cleaner air for tools and finishes. It also dissipates heat quickly, which helps condensate out moisture before it reaches the regulators and filters. And once it's soldered and supported properly, it's permanent. No leaks, no maintenance, and it just looks cool in the shop. So I'm going from 1 1/4 here, and then I'm going to branch out with 3/4 over to right above our regulator assemblies. So we're reducing down to 3/4 and then putting a valve to shut off, to be able to shut off each one of those lines. I went with 3/4 inch valves instead of 1 1/4 inch valves because they're a lot cheaper. To mount this short piece of 1 1/4 copper, I'm using unistrut hangers because that's what they had at Menards. So I got to put a couple pieces of unistrut up on the truss here to be able to tie that in. I'm going to level it out right here, and as you can see, there's our brass coupling for the left, and we'll have to make that tie in here in a bit. But right now I'm going to run the 3/4 inch line. This horizontal is going over to one of the regulators. Putting it in the split ring hangers and getting the final measurement here in between these two 3/4 inch pieces and soldering it up on the ladder. It looks pretty good. So I'll need to go from 3/4 inch to our final 1/2 inch right here. The hangers are different distances away from the wall, and for that I'll use 245s to make an offset down. The desiccant dryer requires, well, desiccant, so I'll put that in, and then I'm going to add a regulator to regulate the air down to whatever I'm using. The desiccant dryer works better at full pressure, so I put the regulator after. Now to get over to the other regulator, I'm going to move really fast across this truss, installing this 3/4 inch pipe. Well, if I worry about any joint, it's going to be this one. I had already soldered in this one piece here, which I probably should have left it unsoldered, I guess, but I didn't know how long this piece was going to be, but I went to put the brush in this top of this valve, and man, it just, I think maybe because it was already heated up, it just ate grooves. I couldn't tell that they were grooves at first, but it just really ate grooves in that valve. So I don't know if that's going to be a, you know, a great solder joint. But now I need to make the final tie-in between the 1 1/4 copper and the 1 1/4 steel. Amazon to the rescue on this one to get this copper adapter 1 1/4 came through. That's why I saved this to the end, but I measure the gap in between the two pieces and fabricate a swing joint using 2 elbows and a short nipple. Alright, so I made these long here. I got a tape joint here, so I'm I'm gonna leave this one long, keep it as close to this one here. From my math, they need to be about, but need to be 1 3/4 inch gap in between these two. So if I measure the end of this one from a point, we got 7 5/8. Measure twice, cut once. So 7 5/8 minus 1 3/4. We got 7/8. Here's 1 5. So 5 7/8. And so from the same point here, 5 7/8. We'll cut it right there. Alright, let's see how we did here. Put that one on all the way. Turn this. Perfect fit. With the last connection in place, I turn on the compressor and slowly open the valve, waiting for something to blow up. I bring up both the regulators to pressure. There's a little drain on one of the filters. I press it to test it, just a short burst of air, and watch the gauge drop slightly. This quick pressure drop is a good demonstration of why going with the largest possible pipe diameter is necessary to reduce pressure loss across the system. Now, I asked you guys earlier in a post about what you might like to see in this video, and somebody mentioned draining the tank of water, and it just so happens that we have an automatic electronic drain here, so it's going to drain automatically from now on. Now, the air compressor doesn't come with that braided stainless steel hose either. It just comes with a little cheap little valve that is really hard to get to. So at the bare minimum, I would definitely get one of those stainless steel braided hoses, but obviously this electronic drain is even better. I was just laying out the pipe earlier just to see how it's all going to fit. It's going to drain to the outside, and I plan on mounting it to this steel plate here. I silicone bronze these nuts on here, and I'll have all threads standoff that'll attach to a 1/2 inch piece of pipe. I couldn't find any split rings for 1/4 inch pipe, so that's why I had to include the 1/2 inch pipe here. Now, the 1/2 inch being bigger than the 1/4 inch, I put it on a slope just so it didn't hold water. After I installed it, I realized I could have put the 1/2 inch on the outlet side, and I wouldn't have needed to put it on a slope, obviously. Now I just have to program it to the desired setting, and the dogs decided to pay me a little visit here. Got it set to discharge for 10 seconds every 12 hours, and we'll do a little test. Sounds like water, but I think that's just air. It should shut off here. There we go. All good.
For a video suggested just for you, click the thumbnail on the left. For the latest video, click the thumbnail on the right, and to visit the channel, click the icon in the center.